Well, I'm on my way to the NMRA Regional Convention. That's the National Model Railroad Association. The NMRA has been around for a long, long time. It's a huge organization of model railroaders, and it oversees what they call regions, and the regions consist of divisions, so it's all divided out that way. The Rocky Mountain region covers about 5 states, and this is the regional show. So it's bringing in people from all over, from Denver to Salt Lake and well into Wyoming and down into New Mexico and I believe Arizona as well. So it should be a really good show. This character here is Charlie Getz, the national president of the NMRA. This year's Rocky Mountain Regional Convention was held in Salt Lake City.
I was an unmolested altar boy, which still annoys me to this very day. So.
Needless to say, he's kind of a crack-up. He's a fun guy. He splits his time between the Bay Area, where he lives, Salt Lake City, where he has family, and the Denver area, where he's moving to. Not bad for a guy whose job says he works in the Midwest. NMRA conventions consist of a lot of different things, including clinics. This is a clinic by railroad artist Gil Bennett on how to paint a backdrop. This is pretty cool, although I don't think very many people's backdrops are going to turn out to be this nice. Heck, I even did a clinic this year on shoving miniature cameras into passenger cars. Gil is a really great guy and a really great artist. Check this out. There are dozens of clinics on all kinds of different subjects. This is Brother Al of the O-Scale Guys doing a clinic on how he builds his famous foreground pine trees. For what it's worth, we have a great video of Al building these trees on the website for sale, and you can pick that up. Oh, and contrary to the rumors that you may have heard, we did not shoot that thing in a bar. This is the contest room, my favorite place. Lots of really cool models showed up this year. Check this out. Now, you might be wondering, all of these things say they're in a particular scale, H-O, O-N, Z, whatever, and what do those letters mean, and where did those come from? Well, in the early days of model railroading, there was no such thing as a standard scale. You just bought something or built something and ran it on a particular piece of track, and that was that. If you wanted to run somebody else's train on your track, well, you were just crap out of luck, okay? So it took standardizing to bring all of that stuff about. Clear back in the 19th century, there were some attempts at standardizing these things, but it really took the NMRA to make that happen.
The NMRA, the oldest worldwide association of scale model railroaders, has done a tremendous amount of good for the hobby of model railroading, and we continue to do so. Probably the most important thing we have done is the standards, which are continuing to this day to make sure that everything operates together. And if you don't think that's important, I suggest you go try to plug in and recharge your Apple iPhone with a Samsung charger and see how successful that is. This would happen in model railroading as well, were it not for the NMRA adopting standards to ensure things work together. But we also do education. We do outreach. We try to publicize the hobby. We try to get new people in. We do as much as we can to advance model railroading on all fronts and to keep our members informed and up to date on new technology. A couple of new developments happening. I'll just give you one example. Power on board. Imagine having no wiring to the rails, that everything runs off of microprocessors and onboard batteries. That technology is coming. It's already here in the larger scales, but it's coming into HO and even smaller scales than that. And we at the NMRA are adopting standards to make sure it works seamlessly. So this is the kind of excitement that is happening in this wonderful hobby of ours. And getting more people involved only helps us all, and keeping our members informed and up to date is one of the benefits. So please give us a try. We don't bite, we're not that bad. We have great meetings, we have great educational opportunities and clinics and things, and we'd love to see you.
Another really fun thing to do at these railroad shows are the layout tours. The local people open up their model railroad and show the thing off a bit. It's always really cool to see. This is Ted York's model of Cajon Pass in California.
I grew up a military brat. I never had anything more than a 4x8 train set. And I would dream, we would move from place to place. In those days, it was all 2-lane roads next to the railroads. And I would look out at all the railroad structures and things and think about how I could model it. And anyway, and then I graduated college, I went into the military. So I never had it, I went on my own without being able to do it. And then finally I moved into this house and I said, that's it, I get the basement. And all those years and years and years of dreaming and planning and whatever came to fruition. And here it is.
California's Cajon Pass between San Bernardino and Victorville has always been a real popular railroad location for model railroaders.
I was looking for a railroad that I could run the current equipment that I was collecting. I had a lot of Western railways, or railroad equipment. And I picked Cajon because Cajon was owned by the Santa Fe, the Union Pacific had trackage rights, and the Southern Pacific occasionally ran over the railroad. We modeled from San Bernardino to Summit, and of course we've left out a lot of the railroad because we had to compress it so much. We turned 25, 26 miles into about 4 miles, 6 miles or something.
A lot of the really big layouts, like Ted's, are used for what is called operation. Operation simply means trying to duplicate the exact nature of a large full-scale railroad, doing waybills and figuring out which cars need to be moved to where, setting up schedules, and then running trains in both directions, picking up and dropping off cars. Takes 5 or 6 engineers and a dispatcher. It's a rather complicated business.
We do operate. It's a little different. It's not a switching railroad. We're a railroad that's about moving trains over the pass. So if we run a full session, we'll do 80 to 85 train movements over about 5 to 6 hours. And we just pump trains back and forth. And so it's a little bit different. And I guess that adds to the spice of life.
This is Gary Peterson's layout. Now, Gary's really into operating, and this layout's been set up for doing that specifically. He models the Rio Grande, and he has a whole card system of doing waybills, and people come in and operate for 6 hours at a time, just running trains back and forth and switching out cars. There's a large group in the Salt Lake area that are into operations, and there's several of these really big railroads like this one that are just perfect for operation. And these guys go to each other's layouts and they'll spend the whole day operating and then go to someone else's layout and do the exact same thing. If all you were really into was operation, you could do that by just laying track on plywood, having a bunch of trains and elaborate controlling systems, and operating the thing. But gee, what's the fun in that? It's much funner to have a realistic-looking railroad with scenery and bridges and something that looks like a real railroad if you're going to actually operate it like a real railroad. Now, this is Steve Strobel's railroad. We've been over here a few times already. I hang out here every Sunday morning with Al there in the green shirt and Steve, and we just mess around with the trains. Mostly what we're into is building the trains. We don't spend that much time operating them. Steve has tried doing operation on this railroad with other people and doing train dispatch and so on, but for the most part, we just kind of push the trains around, have a good deal of fun just sort of running them. But what we're really into is building the trains. And of course, I'm also into videoing the trains and photographing the trains. I get a huge kick out of shooting this footage. Model railroading is most certainly the high art of screwing around, and when it comes to real screwing around, everybody's got their own thing they want to do, and there's just no getting around it. Well, that was really cool. I had a good time there. It's sort of funny, in the model contest, Brother Al of the O-Scale guys, the group that I'm a part of, and we're both, of course, members of the NMRA, Al outscored me in passenger cars with his passenger car. He got one more point than I did. However, the awards are given out by popular choice, and in popular choice, I beat him. So in points, he came in first and I came in second, and in the actual awards, I came in first and he came in second. Didn't stop him from completely blowing out the show, however. He won first, second, and third in freight car, second in passenger car, first place in caboose. So he had a pretty good show. I also took first and second in model railroad photography, so that's pretty darn cool too. Well, it was a really fun show. It was really fun to hang out with Charlie Getz. He's a laugh riot, truth be told. And I've run into him at the narrow gauge conventions and so on, and he's just a really great guy, and this was a really fun show, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. How about that? So if you're a model railroader, and if you are not a member of the NMRA, you might want to consider joining that sucker, because it's really a good time, and mostly a really worthwhile organization that's done a lot for the model railroading hobby. Well, I'm not sure how you found this particular movie on the internet. I hope you didn't find it boring. Do pop over to the channel. There's a link down here if you're not in full screen that says Toyman Television. Also, a subscribe button is about to appear up here, and you could subscribe to the channel by clicking on that. Or you could pop over to the website, toymantelevision.com, and you can see all the movies there, and you can link back to YouTube and subscribe, and go to the Facebook page and like and follow and do all those Facebook kind of things. So it's very fun. Well, I'll see you here again next Sunday with another great example of screwing around Toyman style. I'll see you then.